So just how big is the Ebola threat here in Southwest Louisiana? In a special edition of Healthcast, I separate Ebola facts from fiction with a local infectious disease physician. The death of Thomas Eric Duncan in Dallas 8 days after being diagnosed with Ebola hits close to home, just one state over, bringing concerns over Ebola to a new height. Chris's St. Patrick Hospital infectious disease physician Timothy Hammond says while the threat is concerning, it's very small in Southwest Louisiana.
There's a very minuscule chance that we'll see a case here. The only reason I think that there is even a chance we would see a case here is just because we have a lot of oil and gas workers that travel back and forth.
The majority of these workers do not travel to countries like Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Liberia at the center of this outbreak. Dr. Hammond says it's important to note that exposure can only happen through body fluids.
The only way to become exposed is to be exposed to an infected person's body fluids.
If that exposure happens, it can take up to 21 days to develop symptoms.
The symptoms are very non-specific. It can be fever, headache, muscle aches, diarrhea.
Those symptoms are considered non-specific, meaning they can mimic other illnesses like the flu, making it difficult to identify Ebola. Local hospitals are now following a two-part screening tool from the CDC to streamline this process.
And it basically asks if you have any of the kind of non-specific symptoms of Ebola is question 1, and then question 2 is have you traveled to West Africa in the past 3 weeks, and if the answers to those are yes, then we initiate isolation.
Area hospitals are prepared to identify and isolate a potential Ebola patient, but treating the virus would likely involve a transfer through the CDC to another medical center.
Antibiotics won't work for it, and we don't really have a good antiviral treatment. The treatment is mainly just supportive care, fluids, transfusions as needed.
While this deadly virus is of concern, Dr. Hammond says the most immediate threat is a virus that is actually here and needs to be taken seriously.
I'm a lot more worried about the flu than I am about this, and that's what people should be worried about.
The federal government is set to start more rigorous screening of people arriving in the U.S. from West Africa this weekend. That will happen at 5 major airports, which account for 95% of all passengers arriving from areas hardest hit by Ebola, about 150 people a day. U.S.